the All-American, two-time All-American at the University of Alabama, Antonio Langham. Welcome back to T-Town, sir. I hope you're having a great Thursday afternoon.
I am, Ryan. Look at here. I appreciate that. For the first time, I've heard somebody finally say a two-time All-American. I usually just get All-American. Man, thank you, man.
Hey, just making sure that you give the proper credentials.
I really appreciate that because, see, right now I'm over here getting some counseling from one of Hoover's finest, my boy Reggie Parker. He think I need counseling.
Well, hopefully you're not having to pay for it.
No, this counseling session free.
Okay, good. Hey, we want to spend a lot of time, man, reflecting. But I got to get you to confirm something here. We had a coach on yesterday. Now, Coach Saban's out on the practice field, so you don't have to worry about him listening. But a coach that coached with him at Cleveland told us yesterday his nickname, Coach Saban's nickname. If I told it to you, would you confirm it?
Oh, of course I would.
Right.
Is it brother?
No, Sunshine.
Oh, I didn't know that nickname. That must have been just a nickname amongst the coaches. We never heard that nickname. Well, we didn't hear that nickname because he was too busy yelling at us most of the time.
Well, I think that's probably where he got it at. Yeah, Sunshine.
I didn't know that. I'm going to have to hold on to that one. Thank you, Ryan. I got a little more ammunition with next time I'm at practice or I see him. Possibly tomorrow, I'm going to say, hello, Sunshine.
I double dog dare you.
I am. When I see him, I'm going to say, hello, Sunshine.
No doubt. And you see, and I know I've asked you this before, but do you see the same coach that you saw there in Cleveland that you see currently here?
Hey, everybody doesn't believe me. He laughs when I say this to people. I said, you are looking at a different Nick Saban now. Everybody's like, well, what about the rants and stuff he throws on the sideline during the game? I said, well, imagine playing a whole NFL season with them rants going on at practice. Sometimes he'll throw a rant or two at practice if I'm there, but this was every day, all day at practice when my rookie year with the Browns. So I tell people they see calmer, milder Nick Saban. They had seen him when he was assistant coach with the Browns. It was either one way it was going to go. You was either going to love him or hate him.
Wow. I can imagine. So when you see these players here, you can tell them that he's easy on these guys. I don't know if they would agree this week after.
They wouldn't. They probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't agree. But I tell them they really want to find out. They should have had him when he was assistant coach with the Browns. They really think they think he's tough now. Whoo.
Hey.
Sometimes if you catch him at the right moment, he'll agree. He'll agree with it. If I'm around and I bring it up, he'll agree to it. He'll agree to what I'm saying.
Hey, but could you imagine him on the practice field after, even though it was a win, you know, he accused the media of being rat poison to his team and amping his team up, and he said, you know, we're not as good as we think we are, and we're not going to beat everybody 66-3. Could you imagine this week on the practice field at least a little bit?
Oh, I can imagine. Oh, I can very much imagine what's going on that practice field right now. Even if they're doing it right, it's wrong to him at this point. Well, Coach, I did it right. You didn't do it right. You should have been right here. You should have taken 2 extra steps to been right here. You took 1 step. You missed the other step. I can hear him going at it now, right now.
Well, let me ask you your thoughts on that Texas A&M game. What did you see from the Crimson Tide? Did you see it the same way Coach Saban did, maybe a little bit sloppy?
And I do. I look after watching the game and thinking about it now. Yes, they were a little sloppy. Maybe when you win in big, sometimes you can get a little complacent. I'll be honest. Our 92 team, there were times we hit the field, we were a little complacent, and we had to wake up because we found ourselves in the dogfight majority of the time in 92. But you can get complacent sometimes because you winning games so big that you, as a player, you feel like once you hit the field and the other team hits the field, that they're automatically intimidated because you are the big bad mighty Alabama. So you automatically expecting that team you're facing to look down there and say, man, there's Alabama down there, and shut down. But then again, you have to realize that everybody's being recruited, and if you had Texas A&M, Auburn, or anywhere else, you are 4 or 5-star athlete, you're going to look down at Alabama and say, here's my chance to make a name for myself. Or here's a chance for our football team to make a name for ourselves by beating the number 1 ranked University of Alabama. So complacency can set in, and everybody try to say, no, I don't look at the media, I don't listen to the media. Yes, you do, because the media now is on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. So they're all on social media. So if they're not hearing the media say it, they're hearing people tell, man, y'all are such a great team, man, y'all the greatest team. And we've seen thus far to come through University of Alabama. And they're teenagers at the same time, man. So they can say they don't listen to it, but they do. And it kind of gets in their mind a little bit, and they like, yeah, we are Alabama. We are the number one team in the country. And you can get a little complacent. That's why that game was good for them, because now they know they're either one quarter or 1 minute away from being beaten by some team that they probably shouldn't be beaten by.
I want to move back to that 92 team, but I want to ask you one more question from your perspective. What do you see in Minka Fitzpatrick?
I really want to say something, but I'm afraid I may jinx him.
Okay.
So I'm really I want to stay away from it.
Rat
but
poison,
I can't,
rat
Ryan. I can't, Ryan. I think I may have company now. I think he may be the next Jim Thorpe Award. I think he may win the Thorpe this year, man.
Okay.
The Jim Thorpe Award. I really do. That guy, man, when you get a player that's that good, a player that's that, he's not just a one-dimensional player. This guy can play corner. He can play safety. He can play the star guy, which is the nickel guy. It probably needed to be. He could probably be like Mark Barron and be this hybrid type player. You could probably move him to an outside backer if you had to and play him there. That's how that guy, how versatile that guy is, man. That's how versatile that guy is, man. And I mean, hey, I don't know who are the other front runners out there, or the other guys out there for the Thorpe this year, but I mean, hey, if we're going off of one season, I mean, he may be off to a slow start because of where we're having to play him at as far as the position at the star guy. But if you're gonna go on his production over the years, I think there may be another trophy sitting in the trophy case up there with his name on it.
Well, there's already one there. When we talk about Jim Thorpe Award, you won that back in 1993. Certainly, when you look at Minka Fitzpatrick, just wanted to work in some praise for him, just the versatility that he brings. I want to go back to 1991 because I think that really is the year that set up 1992. Let me walk you back to a negative. In 1991, Florida beat Alabama 35-0. What was said after that game that sort of turned everything around and motivated you guys? What was that players' meeting about, and what was some of the thoughts that was said?
I mean, that players' meeting is like any other meeting. I mean, when you're blown out of a stadium, when you basically ran out of a stadium like 35-0, what can you say? That players' meeting is everybody's upset. But number one, everybody's embarrassed because we are Alabama and we were shut out. We couldn't put not 1 point on the board. Of course, we're upset. So our players meeting, players only meeting, our captains handle that. And the meeting goes basically something like this: as long as I'm a senior the rest of this season, we will never be shut out of another football game again. We're going to hit the practice field and we're going to do whatever we're supposed to be. Everybody's going to be responsible for themselves. Do your job and count on your man to do his job. We're going to, all the horseplay, all the not being focused at practice is over with. We've been blown out. We've been embarrassed. Now let's right this ship. And that's what we did, man. We started making that run. And let me say this, that 91 season was the perfect blueprint for the 92 season because all we did was roll into the spring with the blueprint that 91 gave us in order to win games and not face a situation where we're blown out of a stadium. And, you know, we never talk about it, but I give a lot of credit to our 91 team because after that loss, that blueprint was laid out, how to practice every day, how to study, how to be on the same page, how to become a unit, one team, one machine, how to be that. And we learned that, and it rolled right on into 92. That 91 season was the perfect blueprint for our 92 season.
Other than a game, when we talk about the SEC championship game in 92 where you beat Florida 28-21, we certainly know your impact on that game. But prior to that, is there another game that sticks out to you in the regular season?
Yes. La Tech. We playing La Tech. I think we were in Birmingham. And my boy had some problems. Number 2, Deuce, David Palmer. And he was suspended for, I think, a quarter or maybe 2 quarters. All I know, or he may have been suspended for a half, but we were losing. It was like 7-6. We were losing. We put him in the game, and that was a dogfight. I mean, my boys in bookend, they were having to deal with Willie Rowe, who was an All-American lineman that game, and we put him. He came off of their suspension. They put him back deep on a punt return. He catches it and houses it. His first punt return back in the game, and he takes it to the house. And I never forget, he runs, and there was a camera set up in the end zone, and he runs straight to the camera, and he stops and looks at the camera and said, "I'm back."
Hey, and I was watching that '93 game, the Sugar Bowl this morning, and you know you often forget. You know, you think about players who are doing it right now. I went back and I watched the '93 game this morning, and David Palmer, man, what a player! What a player! I mean, did you ever just look in awe of some of the things that he was able to do on the football field?
David Palmer had our attention, and when he came in 1990, we had scrimmages. We did not have special teams live doing scrimmages. He comes in 91. Coach Stallings and them, they're so excited about having David Palmer at the University of Alabama. Our whole scrimmage that day was live. Every kicking scenario was live. Kickoff return, punt return. The first punt return of the day of the scrimmage, they punt it to him. He takes it to the house. And we standing there like, man, there's no way. There's no way. This man come in out of high school right here and lines up and catch the first punt and takes it to the house. And I'm saying nobody put a hand on him. Nobody touched him. I was like, it was so, David Palmer was so good at it. Then our special team coach, Amos Jones, I don't even think he really fussed at David how. We set up returns, but he didn't fuss at David how he got to the return. Because there were times when David would catch a punt, and David would turn, he might go to his left, and David may look like he just walking, and he'll just be trotting, man, and then he'll get one step, and he'll hit it, and he'll split five. He'll have five guys around and split it. And I'm thinking, like, man, we on, like, 8 against Colorado, the Blockbuster Bowl in Miami. We in an all-out blitz. I mean, all-out block. They get the ball off. He catches it. I promise you, I'm jogging to the sideline because I know that fair catch hand is went in the air. I'm jogging to the sideline. Next thing I know, I hit the sideline. Turn around, Langham, here he come. Here he come. I look back. He pointing at me, get the kicker, get the kicker. And I'm mad because I'm like, he going to force me to block the kicker. You just had 10 guys around you that didn't touch you. You want me to block the kicker?
Antonio, when we go back, and we're talking with Antonio Langham about that 1992 team, 25 years, does that make you feel old, man?
Yeah, it does. I'll be honest, it does.
Well, listen, we as much as Nick Saban has won in Tuscaloosa, and I told George Teague this earlier, and I told Coach Stallings this as well yesterday.
Wait a minute, Ryan. I don't mean to cut you off. You were able to talk to George Teague. When you get a chance, can you text him and tell him to call me? I would like to hear from him.
He didn't respond to text. You got to just straight up call him, man. Hey, I called him. And now I'm telling on him. He answered the phone, and I always call him George. He said, "This is Coach Teague talking," and I said, "Coach, this is Rod in Tuscaloosa. Will you come on and talk a little Alabama football with me?" He said,
he's Coach Teague now. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Coach Teague is the way. Yeah, he answered the phone so proper. This is Coach Teague talking. So I thought I'd called the wrong number there for a minute, but we were talking about the great moments of Alabama football history, and we asked the audience back in the summer to pick their favorite national title. So you're not able to do this at Auburn because they only have 1.5. But in Tuscaloosa, there's 16 to choose from. And out of all the championships, 90% of our callers selected 92 as that championship that was their favorite. And I think a lot of it was because what you guys were able to overcome. Nobody doubted you could get the job done. Only one little writer out in Tucson, Arizona by the name of Corky Simpson said,
Corky, I never forget Corky.
I believe in the Crimson Tide.
Every year, every Sunday, whenever the poll came out, we only had one number one vote, and it was Corky all the time.
All right, so let me ask you this, because we love Coach Stallings stories. What's the funniest Coach Stallings story you know, Antonio?
Oh man, we have so many Coach Stallings stories now. My favorite one is the White House when we went to the White House.
Oh no, it. This is awesome. This is awesome. Go ahead, tell it.
And I mean, we fly into D.C. and we get over to the White House, and we've been on our little tours, and we've been camped out for the longest. We've been there seemed like all day. And we was a certain time which the president was supposed to come out, President Clinton, and he hasn't come out yet. Now, Coach Stallings, being him, likes to be on time. It's impatient. Now, there's a lot of ways the story goes from what we remember going. He goes over to security people, and he says, "Hey, man, you tell the president he got 10 minutes to get out here. If he ain't out here in 10 minutes, I'm taking my football team and I'm packing them up and I'm taking them back to Tuscaloosa. We got a million things we could be doing in Tuscaloosa instead of waiting on the president who seems want to take his sweet little old time to come out." And then, it was something like that. It said the security people looked at him like, "Coach, are you serious?" He looked at him, and he looked at his watch, and he said something like, either like, "Now you're down to 9 minutes or you're running out of time." So they went back there. A couple minutes later, President Clinton come walking out, and we were laughing as players because we were like, "Man, this man is going to have control no matter where he is. He is at the White House telling the president how much time he got to come out or we leave."
Right. Hey, well, I mean, you at least feel sorry for me. I love Coach Stallings, okay? Well, I interview him every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And like, he's so quick with his answers and everything, but he's a hard interview. It's probably one of my hardest interviews because, he's a like, you don't give a freebie to him. Like, sometimes you ask a question, and even if you're wrong, these coaches will twist you around. Coach will be like, "Well, that's not the way it happened."
Oh, I can see it now. I can see him now. In the interview, probably went a little something like this, or you went through your whole interview with him. Then at the end, well, Coach, I just want to ask you something before I let you go. All right, Alabama plays Arkansas Saturday. What is your prediction on the game? Hey, man, don't ask me that. I don't give predictions. He did. We was at a function here at Birmingham one night. I think it was leading up to the Alabama-Auburn game, and he and Coach Dye were there. And at the end, Rick Carly said, "Well, Coach, before I let you go, because I know you got to catch a flight and get back to Paris, Texas." And now he said, "Coach, I just want to, what's your prediction on the game Saturday?" He looked, and he was sitting beside me, and he leaned over me. He said, "Hey, 43, what did he say?" I said, "Coach, he want to know if he wants you to give him a prediction on the game." He said, "What? What'd you say?" I said, "He wants you to give him a prediction on the game." He turned around, he grabbed him. "Hey, man, I ain't doing that."
Oh, me. But we love Coach Stallings, and he told us, I mean, listen, he told us a couple of weeks ago, and then he has the heart attack, and he sounds, I mean, yesterday he was so energized. He's talked about this event, the 25th anniversary, for 6 months on our show. He loves that football team, that 92. He loves all those teams.
Oh, yeah.
But you could tell it. When I asked him about that 92 team, like, his audio goes up a couple of notches. I know he's going to be excited to see all you guys. And
we'll be excited to see him. Now, have you ever had him if you ever can get him to tell you the story about him and his daughters and the guy that was trying to date his daughter?
Yes.
I like to end up when he says, "Hey, all my daughters' husbands took different paths in life, but one thing they all have in common is they all know how to build a fence."
Could you? There ain't no way I could work with him 8 hours out putting a fence up. There's no way. I'd just go home.
I mean, 8 hours. He's like, "Hey, I woke him up early that morning, and I told him, look here, we're gonna go out and build a fence." Hey, I didn't need a fence. I didn't need a fence on the ranch. I didn't need one on the farm. But hey, I told him we were gonna go build a fence.
I can only imagine.
But could you imagine seeing him sitting up on a horse, looking at you, talking, "Hey, you ain't dig that hole deep enough. Go a little deeper."
Oh, I can only imagine. Hey, Antonio, man, listen. You got to do us one favor though tomorrow. When Dabo's coming to the stadium, you just make sure he's not taking notes, man, because it looks like it may be a trilogy between Alabama and Clemson at the end of the season. So you make sure when he's in that stadium, that he's not taking notes on this Crimson Tide football team.
All right, well, what we'll do is we'll just sit around him and talk to him. We'll talk about old times.
Yeah, get him distracted.
I'll tell him what I usually tell him. I always tell him, I said, every day he should at least send me a nice gift or something nice every other day, because I told him it was all those days when I wouldn't let him catch a pass that prepared him to be the head coach of the club.
Had to go through the valleys, man.
Yeah, I told him all those days when you wanted to run around and I wouldn't let you catch a pass. I was preparing you for what you're doing.
Hey, Antonio, man, I love the personality, the energy you bring, and man, just listen, a big salute to you from all of us in Tuscaloosa,
hey,
man.
Ryan, thank you, man. Thank y'all very much for everything.